did appear competitive in this game. Nunez trying to scurry forward. McKenna is across again. And counted the goal scorer is Rico Lewis. It's amazing how Manchester City seamlessly make these raft of changes and the team looks unruffled and very smooth.
See the changes that he made in the FA Cup for the game away at Luton Town where they scored 6 goals. Changed the team up again this weekend against Manchester United, and he's got the ability to do it again. Touched on the fact that he's got almost a fully fit squad, which is almost unheard of at this stage of the season, to have the quality that's available to Pep Guardiola.
Simply amazing form, no defeat since the Aston Villa game at the beginning of December. 19 matches unbeaten since then, and most of those have been wins, just 2 draws in that time. Oddly, both of them in this stadium. Even when they haven't been at their slick best, talking about the home game against Brentford the other week. Chelsea here. They've still got the job done eventually. Here is Oscar Boll, smashing his way through the Copenhagen defence and winning yet another corner. And Vavra had no other option than to block that effort.
He ends up doing well, Vavra, but he's got so much time and space, Bob. It's a fantastic run from him, but nobody gets close enough. Ankerson drops off him, Yeller drops off him. Nobody gets close enough. Youngster has a fantastic run, gets his strike away.
Alvarez with a second corner of the night. It's a hefty one towards the far post, and Rodri has hit the crossbar. Unmarked. Evading his marker. Here's Alvarez, and we slip from the hands of Grabara. What a mistake from the soon-to-be departing goalkeeper of Copenhagen. And Julian Alvarez has doubled Manchester City's advantage inside 10 minutes. It's the worst possible start for Jakob Nyström. Copenhagen absolutely crestfallen. City delighted.
Another set play, such a simple set play. Rodri finds himself in absolutely acres of space around the far post. And the mistake from Grabara, it's inexcusable. Alvarez, you can see what he's doing. He's just trying to whip that across the face of the goal. He actually probably gets it wrong. He strikes it towards the goalkeeper. Goalkeeper lapse of concentration, completely takes his eye off it, slips through his hands. Inexcusable mistake. And it's a long, long way back for Copenhagen now.
Well, you've been a goalkeeper at the highest level, played in international tournaments, played for your country, and played in the Champions League. You know what it's like to have great days. What does that particular moment feel like for a goalkeeper?
It's a terrible situation for a goalkeeper because it is inexcusable. Unfortunately, when you make a mistake as a goalkeeper, that's what happens. It's a mentality that you have to have now. You can't let that affect the rest of your game. But to make such a basic error, if you like, you could give him that ball 100 times in training tomorrow, and that would never happen. It was just a lapse in concentration, switched off, and you struggle to put words to it because it's inexcusable.
What's the reason for it swerving through his hands? They're just not close enough together. Is he not? The angle of his hands right? What is it?
The amount of training you do, the repetition in training you do, that comes naturally. That ball should have been food and drink for him. It's a lapse of concentration. It's maybe a little bit of technique. You look at it behind the goal, his hands weren't quite together, his hands did twist, but it's an inexcusable mistake that he probably won't ever make again.
Manchester City lead 2-0 on the night. It's only 10 minutes old, and 5-1 on aggregate. Started as they mean to go on. Kovacic is not happy. He has taken a little whack. I think he's winded. Edison trying to provide the attention that he needs. Pep Guardiola is out very quickly to try and organise his team should they have to make an emergency change. I think he'll be all right once he gets his faculties back. And what a difficult night it is for him. He's already brought the team to Manchester this season and made an impact. His team were involved in a narrow defeat to Manchester United at Old Trafford, where they missed their late penalty actually in that game. But this is a very different type of place to come to. And if you make an error like that, you've got no chance.
Well, these are both goals. This is the first goal from Akanji. The marking, yes, they're tight, but they don't get close enough. You can't allow a ball to go across the 6-yard box that simple. And then this is the second goal. Alvarez just looked up. You have to give him credit because he has. He's looked at the target. I mean, he's hit the goalkeeper and he should catch it and he should make a save. The ball's hit with power, it's hit with pace, but he'll know.
Due to join Wolfsburg at the end of the season. It's his 37th appearance of the campaign. He was given the captain's armband tonight in the absence of Klaassen. It's not what you need from your skipper on a night like this. Unfortunate incident for Copenhagen. But Manchester City lead by 2-0 on the night. 5-1 on aggregate.
I thought he was poor in the first game as well, Grabara. I mean, the Manchester City goals, yeah, you look at them, you look at the quality and the way that they were constructed. But there were goals that could have been prevented, and I thought the goalkeeper was not necessarily at fault, but he could have done better with the goals in the first leg.
Well, he is a former Liverpool goalkeeper. The Manchester City fans will be hoping that the current Liverpool goalkeeper makes a similar sort of mistake on Sunday when the two title rivals meet at Anfield. The way that William Kelleher is playing at this moment in time, that would seem unlikely. Said he wanted goals tonight to ensure there was no nervousness for his team. He started in the right vein.
But you do feel for Copenhagen, knowing they've had a game plan. They've come here with injuries. They've set up to try and be very difficult to break down with 5 at the back. 4 sat in front of them. You can see there the wide shot. Look how defensive they are. You can see their back 5 in position, and they've gone 2 down so early on in the game. Well, I think we're already in the territory of how many is it going to be for Manchester City.
Here's Matthias Cunha bounding forward, trying to set it back for Erling Haaland. It's Rico Lewis who picks it up. Oscar Bombers peeled off to make a bit of space. He's stripped in towards Haaland, who slipped, and they try to keep it alive at the back post with Oscar Guardiola. But they once again looked a little bit ragged at the back, Copenhagen.
It was really well done. Haaland's really disappointed because it's a slip. He's got a free header. He's got an open goal. Haaland doesn't miss those. I think say that we did in the weekend against Manchester United, didn't he? But that wasn't with his head.
He was speaking about that yesterday at the press conference, about the focus. He insisted that he just wants to have the best career possible, and that it takes a lot of mental strength to score the goals that he does, especially, in his words, when you miss the biggest chance in the world ever 3 days ago.
That's quite a fair assumption, actually, isn't it, when you think about the chance and you think of the quality of player who's missed it. 80 goals in 84 games. You wouldn't have put him down to miss that one.
He did come back towards the end of that match to make sure that he was on the score sheet. Manchester City did vanquish their city rivals, Manchester United. And he did talk about, he used to cry about missed chances and losses, but now he just knuckles down and focuses. We're going to focus here, Manchester City, because they've given away a corner. Shuri will take it. It's back out to the edge of the box, and it's lifted goalwards, but well over the top from Claire. One of the 3 teenagers in the team tonight.
It's a huge night for him, isn't it? I mean, the 3 teenagers that have come into the side tonight, 18, 19 and 19 years old, to play very early on in your career in the Champions League away at the European champions. It's a massive game.
And those Copenhagen fans that you saw in your shot, 2,350 of them that have made the journey from Denmark this Wednesday night game. They all congregated at around about 6 o'clock tonight at Exchange Square in the city of Manchester and marched on the City of Manchester Stadium. Guardiola, Nunez, Rico Lewis is very high up and has been for most of the game so far on this right-hand side.
This has been the story of so many of Manchester City's games this season. You look at the pattern of play, you look at where the players are from both sides. City dominating possession and just looking to try and pick that lock, the low block against them, moving the ball backwards, forwards, sideways, trying to find a way through. And so many teams playing like this against Manchester City. And when they do get possession like they have now, they struggle.
Nunez has won it back after Lewis had helped him out. Bob tries to poke it through to Haaland. Those two good playing together internationally, Oscar Bob and Erling Haaland. Nunez. Diaz. Now Kovacic, who is a four-time Champions League winner.
It's almost too easy for Manchester City, isn't it, in possession? More than 80% possession already inside the first 20 minutes, 2 goals up. You do fear for Copenhagen that it could be a long night. It's now about damage limitations for them.
Actually, FC Copenhagen, they lost on Friday night to Midtjylland in a key game that saw their opponents take a 3-point lead at the top of the Danish league. Copenhagen dropped to third. They are the Danish double winners from last season, already out of the cup. They must win the Danish Superliga to get back to the Champions League next season. It's only the top team that qualify. A pretty impressive campaign, really, bearing in mind the group that they were in. It was always going to be a tricky last 16 encounter when paired against the imperious holders. Here's Kovacic, loves to carry the ball from midfield. Haaland's on the run. He's tried to play him in behind here, but Vavra was alert to the danger.
Yeah, it does well, Vavra. Just tracks the run. It's a run that we see Erling Haaland make so many times. Kovacic finds him really well. Good ball through to him, but Vavra tracks his runner.
These two have met before in a knockout tie in Europe. Copenhagen came from 2 goals down to salvage a draw at the Parken. It was 15 years ago. It was a very different Manchester City back then. They've won another corner, and that could spell danger, because we know what happened in the last 2.
I think what you say about Copenhagen as well, you know, the results that they've got. They went away to Bayern Munich in the group, got a 0-0 draw.
Yeah, they were good that
time.
Drew
In Galatasaray as well. Defeat and Manchester against Manchester United, they were unfortunate but played well. But for them to get out of the group with Bayern Munich, Galatasaray and Manchester United was a huge achievement in itself.
Short corner taken towards Rico Lewis. Alvarez will try again. Barliol, Kanji, Haaland lurking with intent. It's whipped in right underneath the goalkeeper's head, and he pushed it over the top, but there was some infringements inside the penalty area that the Norwegian referee didn't fancy.
I think he's shot there, Sam, you know. I think Alvarez has gone for goal directly from the corner. You look at all the mess in the box there, and the goalkeeper gets attracted in, and after that little mistake what the goalkeeper's made before, I think Alvarez has just thought, I'm going to test you out here. I think Alvarez's shot from the corner there caused the goalkeeper a problem.
Look at that wrestling going on between Akanji and Ankasa at the far post.
I think that's what they're just having a quick look now on VAR.
They did have a little penalty check, but I think too extensive. Dix. Ankasa. Rico Lewis. This is Oscar Bob into Akanji again.
They're struggling to get any kind of possession at all, Copenhagen. They have a couple of decent passes at the back, but they really are unable to move through the lines, get the ball forward. You look at Achuri and Elianusi, the two players that should be the most advanced. They're dropping back, almost making it a five-man midfield now.
Total domination from Manchester City at this point. Alvarez being watched by Babro, digs away. Erling Haaland will be licking his lips. He has 5 goals in this season's Champions League, level with Atletico Madrid's Antoine Griezmann and Alvaro Morata, Porto's Galeno. Outright on top of the chance of the goal tonight. And on this near side, an escape from the yellow was immediately repelled by Manchester City, who have got them in a bit of a straitjacket.
It's complete one-way traffic, isn't it? Complete dominance by Manchester City. You don't have to look at the possession stats or any other stats in the game to see that Manchester City are in complete control.
Here's Bob breaking the lines and then trying to turn. Press kindly for Lewis. Rodri was screaming for the ball. Then puts it back again. Looking for Bob once again. Good touch. He's got Haaland at the far post. It's been joined by Nunez inside the box, and eventually it's cleared by Copenhagen. But when you say cleared, it just means getting it away from halfway for a moment, because very quickly it's coming back again. This is Alvarez trying to get in between the two defenders. Babro heads it towards the edge of the box. This is Ankerson, smothered by light blue jerseys. And again, City in control.
Very good at that, Manchester City, when they're in the mood like this and they've got a game like this. They're used to playing against teams with a low block, and what they do is they ring-fence the area very well. So when they do lose possession, they look to get it back very quickly. Copenhagen don't have an outball. Manchester City win it back within 1 or 2 passes. You can see now the dark blue shirts dropping deeper and deeper.
Once more, tiptoeing forward with Diaz, then Kovacic. Does mean that Pep Guardiola gets to rest Speedy Walker, John Stones, who's had his injury problems, De Bruyne, Bernardo Silva, Foden tonight, who's been so important to them recently.
You also wonder how long he's going to be into the game and how many goals that he's set target in his own mind before he makes changes. I mean, we know how important that Rodri is to this team. We know how important Haaland is to this team. I think it's only going to be a matter of time, whether it's half-time or after an hour, that we're seeing numerous changes from the Manchester City manager, should it stay like this.
A couple of youngsters on the bench as well tonight, like Hamilton and Jacob Wright. To Socio. Kovacic, to Rodri. Now Alvarez far side. Again, they're backed up, Copenhagen, trying desperately to repel this Manchester City team. It's like trying to crack a safe at times when teams come here and park 2 bags of 4 in front of that 18-yard box, but more often than not, City have the ability to find the code.
Well, that's what they do. They're clever here. They're not afraid to go backwards and sideways, and they try and draw the team out of position. You see the Copenhagen team there now. 2 strikers, one of them will go and press. The midfielder will come out of position, and then City activate that, and they find the spaces.
Yeah, it's just forcing Lewis a little bit too wide, I think, for his own comfort. It's forced behind, and it's out for a goal kick away to our right. Well, Copenhagen are not regulars at this stage. This is only the 2nd time in their history that they've made it to the last 16 of the Champions League. They did brilliantly to come through a tough group, but this is a tough test. He knows it.
And I think maybe if you look at his team selection as well, you touched for the game that they didn't play instead of some of the youngsters. So maybe he has got one eye on a decent performance tonight, come away without being damaged too much in the goal scoring columns, and then get his full team back ready for the title charge towards the end of the season.
Alvarez. Oscar Bob trying to weave his way past that tightly packed line. Ankerson gets across. Fabro is there as well. We've got a hearty support, that's for sure. FC Copenhagen behind the goal, away to our right. They might need it tonight because they look to be
trying to win it back. Here is Bellingham, but he's normally possession. You're running around chasing the ball, you're chasing shadows. And this Manchester City team, yes, they have got a structure, they've got a way of playing, but in possession they're so fluid. They change positions. Nunez, Alvarez, Bob, Kovacic. There's no set positions when they've got the ball, and it's such a hard way to defend against a team like Manchester City.
Roderick trying to advance past Skarsen. There is that Copenhagen support. Scarves in the air. Voices sung hoarse by the end of the night, you would have thought. Elyounoussi intervenes and nicks Rodri's pass. How long is it before a light blue shirt gets it back again, though? Not long. Scott McKenna adds a little bit of poise to the occasion for Copenhagen. And across, bounding forward, comes Elyounoussi. Into the box, Oscarson. Elyounoussi! They have a goal to celebrate. And it's a brilliantly crafted goal as well. They came here to see a miracle. And they have something to cheer. Clawing their way back into the tie might be almost impossible, but they will not go home empty-handed.
Well, it's almost the first time they've crossed the halfway line, and they do a really good job. Elyounoussi it is to start with, breaks forward, and you can see the bodies that they've got, and it is the weakness of Manchester City's. We spoke about the weakness that they have. Plays a fantastic 1-2 with Oscars on the edge of the box, and it's a great finish from Elyounoussi. The first shot on target again for Manchester City. It's been one of their Achilles heels all season long, conceding from the first shot on target. Ederson's had nothing to do all night, but give Copenhagen credit, and Elyounoussi, very direct, got one thing on his mind, great 1-2 on the edge of the box, and it's a really good finish. Opens his foot up, slots it past Ederson, and once again, Manchester City's inability to keep a clean sheet.
Predicament that they've got themselves into far too often, isn't it? Conceding a goal from their first shot on target. You mentioned it. I think it's about 13, 14 times that that's happened this season.
Well, I had a stat written down a couple of weeks ago and I haven't updated it. I think it was 11 from 11, but it's happened 2 or 3 more times since.
Yeah.
And it's been a real weakness of theirs. I mean, look at the dominance. We spoke about the dominance already in this game. And then to be opened up so easily and concede so easily. I think we spoke about it before, Sam, didn't we, in the first leg? It's okay against Copenhagen because you'll outscore them, but what will better teams do to Manchester City in that case?
Pep Guardiola is not one to worry too much about keeping clean sheets. He worries about the W's next to his team's name. Conceding goals as regularly as they have this season will be a troublesome thing as the tournament gets into its more trickier encounters. Been a little bit disappointed, I think. First crafted attack. The goal for Copenhagen, who have just shown what they're capable of. But they have another opportunity here. Ashuri standing over this free kick, giving